You are Locked On Heat Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Heat fans? Welcome to another edition of your Locked On Heat Postcast. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media. And we are here tonight to bring you the beginning of a 6-game road trip, the opener at Phoenix against the Suns. And the Suns with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. The Miami Heat with Tyler Herro and Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Got it on tonight in the PHX. And yeah, this is your Locked On Heat Postcast. Not a good ending for Miami tonight. A much better performance, especially in the third quarter. But the Suns get hot late and beat the Heat 115-112. This is your Locked On Heat Postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Just want to say thank you right now for making us a big part of your day. You always do, and we really love you for that. Locked On Heat, Locked On Canes, Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Marlins, all of us really grateful for that. I do the postcast for all, and yeah, man, the numbers going up, and we appreciate that here on YouTube as well as the podcast, wherever you get them, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, you know what I'm saying. But I want to tell you real quick, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. That's right, you. Your favorite podcast has a newsletter introducing the Locked On Heat daily newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. And then tonight's show, as you know, we have a title sponsor for every show, and tonight's show is brought to you by, what time is it? A que hora usted? What time is it? Game time. It's game time for me. The game's over, but tonight's episode is sponsored by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase on Game Time. A que hora, what time is it? It is game time. 115-112. The Suns beat the Heat. Miami not able to get it done down the stretch, and it just was unfortunate because they played a pretty good game tonight. And the Suns are a really good team, right? So you know Miami played a good game tonight, and you're feeling it. You're feeling all right with all that. But it was just not a good ending for Miami, and we'll get to that. I mean, look, it was very, very even throughout. Kevin Durant was the big difference in this game, but again, the Heat blowing a big lead. They blew a 15-point lead the other night. They blew a 15-point lead tonight. The Suns have won 6 games in a row. They're in fuego, on fire. All Suns are, right? But Kevin Durant, 32 points. Nurkic, 20 points and 18 rebounds. Continuing a trend. Look, Miami had more points in the paint tonight, but they've been getting dominated down low. Bam at 6'9", no Kevin Love with the rebounds. You know what I'm saying? And the outlet passes of Love, you missed those too. So he's coming back, and he'll be ready to roll, be the backup center here soon. But some young kids getting some run and making the most of it. But a 15-point deficit for the Suns, and they end up coming back to win. And, just not a good night for Miami in that regard. It was 79-64 Heat in the third quarter, and at least they didn't get blasted in the third quarter tonight. They had been outscored 137-17 in third quarters at home this season. And if you remember the show that I did the other night, I was feeling a little under the weather. Thanks for bearing with me. But the show that I did the other night after the Sacramento Queens games, I used to listen to Steve Summers on WFAN in New York on overnights. Steve Summers here, you there. The Sacramento Kings against the Hollywood Fakers. It was funny. But anyway, Shaq called them the Queens. But at game the other night, I said in the postcast, I said, listen, they're better on the road. They have a chance to gel, to be a more cohesive unit. When you're on the road, it's just you guys. You're together more. When you're at home, everybody goes to their crib. Everybody's got their connections in town, their businesses or whatever. And it's a lot different when you're on the road, although these guys are so rich. They have connections and business opportunities everywhere now. But a big run for the Suns. They finished the third quarter. And look, the Heat have been terrible in the third quarter, but it was 29-29 in the third tonight. But a big run for Phoenix. A big run for Phoenix in the third quarter. 15-3 run to cut the lead to 3. And then, neither team really kind of grabbing control of the game in the fourth. It just didn't happen. But Kevin Durant, as he always does, hitting big shot after big shot down the stretch, man. And, Devin Booker, KD had 32. Booker, 22 points, 9 assists for Phoenix. They're 7-1. They've won their last 5 games by 6 points or less. Booker made 1 of 2 free throws, gave the Heat a chance. with 4.8 seconds to go, but the Heat couldn't get a shot off. And that's just, look, you can't get a shot off on the last possession of the game. That's just inexcusable. You have to get a shot off in 4 seconds. Spoelstra's got to be losing his mind. More from him throughout the show. But Tyler Herro leads the Heat with 28 points. They're 3-4 now on the year. Haywood Highsmith had a great game, 19, and no Jaime Jaquez Jr. So Jimmy Butler only had 15. I'm wondering what's going on with him. Inconsistent this year. Bam Adebayo, 12 points, 12 rebounds, not scoring. 5 for 21 from the floor was Bam, and 3 of those 5 were dunks. 3 of the 5 were dunks. That's all I'm going to say. At least he made the dunks. The Suns had 16 turnovers that led to 20 Miami points, and the reason I say that is because the Heat are phenomenal defensively. Deflections, steals, tip balls, smothering you on the defensive end. That's never a problem for Miami. The rebounds haven't been great. The defensive rebounding, giving up a lot of offensive rebounds. And, you look at Nurkic with 20 and 18 or whatever it was tonight. Bradley Beal hit a 3 that gave the Suns the lead. He didn't score in the first half. He seems to be like the odd man out with this big 3. Not even really a Bosh. He's got to find his way, because Bosh was awesome in that role, but he accepted it. Hey, I might score 16, 18, whatever, but I'm going to get 12 boards. I'm going to impact the game in many other ways, and Bosh was a huge part of the Heatles, as you know, as big as LeBron or Wade. But, look, the Suns are off to their best start in franchise history. The Suns are starting a brutal road trip. They go to Denver on Friday, or they play at Dallas. No, they don't. They play at Denver. Phoenix plays at Dallas. Excuse me, I read that wrong. They play at Denver, and then on Sunday they play the T-Wolves in Minneapolis. And, you got to go from KD and Booker with Bradley Beal to Jokic and company with Denver, and then you hit Minnesota with Anthony Edwards and Randall and all them dudes. So, yeah, just a tough one for Miami tonight. Not the way you want to start the road trip. Look, the third quarter was better tonight. When you look at the box score, it's 29-29, but they blew a 15-point lead in the third. What is it with this team after halftime? Look, you get into rotations. I get that. First quarter, second quarter, you get that run going. The rotations are kicking in. Whatever it is, when they come out of the locker room, they have not been the same. But they were all right for most of the third quarter tonight. That late run by the Suns is what did them in, and I just really can't understand it. But, later on, of course, we're going to have our our player of the game and our turning point and our final score graphic and all that, and we'll explain that a little bit more for you. But we are we're trying to figure out how to get the there we go. Oh, hold on a second. There we go. There we go. Okay. So just uploading some pictures here for the stuff that we're doing a little bit later on in the show. But again, it wasn't a terrible game for Miami. There's a lot to take from what they've done so far this year. It's the Heat culture, like later in the year, they're going to be there. They're going to be around somewhere in the playoff seedings, but losing all those home games, this is where it kills you. You lost to a really good team on the road tonight, a team that's 7-1, that's tied its franchise record for the best start in history. 2 of the biggest stars in the game that were both on the floor at the end in Paris at the Olympics. You had 2 Suns players on the floor. You had Steph Curry, right? I think it was Joel Embiid, and then you had Booker and KD and LeBron, and that was who it was on the floor for Team USA. 2 guys from the Suns, Booker and KD, and they played like it tonight. I think they played really well. Devin Booker just doesn't have a selfish bone in his body. He's scoring, he's assisting, he's hardly turning the ball over. I really love Book as a player, and he could have been with the Heat when he came into the league, and that's kind of interesting how it didn't end up working out. But I'm just trying to get one more overlay to add in here. But you know what? It was a good game overall for Miami. And in the end, they just couldn't get it done. They are not executing down the stretch, man. Not getting a shot off on that last possession down 3. Good defense by the Suns, but not getting a shot off. Come on, you got to do better. That'll drive a coach crazy when you don't get a shot off. And we know they had their struggles at home. We know the third quarters have been brutal. This one was better, but down the stretch, man, Kevin Durant just bombing people. And he's been doing it his whole career, and he's doing it this year too. Again, and when you're looking at the fourth quarter of this game, down the stretch it came, and Devin Booker makes a big shot. Bradley Beal makes a 3, gives him the lead. Kevin Durant makes an 11-footer. Jimmy Butler with a dunk. Kevin Durant makes an 8-footer. Kevin Durant makes free throws. Kevin Durant makes a jumper. You know what I mean? Devin Booker makes the free throw and the game's over, but it was KD. And these are not easy shots, right? The one that he hit that actually, and Booker made the free throw to give him the 3-point lead, but the one that KD hit, and look, Tyler Herro made a layup to make it 114-112. Kevin Durant's jumper to make it 114-110 was free throw line extended a little bit inside the 3, maybe 3 to 4 feet. So it's about an 18-footer. And he's got Highsmith all over him. Hand right here. KD's here. He creates just enough space with the size and the long arms. And he drills these tough shots time after time after time and game after game and season after season. Just awesome. Kevin Durant, one of the greatest players to ever lace him up and step on the NBA hardwood. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease with your Locked On Heat postcast. Man, oh man, tough one tonight for Miami, 115-112. The Suns erase a 15-point deficit in the third quarter, and KD Trey hitting twos tonight, but KD Trey just boom, 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 like that dude at the park that just doesn't miss, and he's on the court all night. And hey, we got next. Doesn't matter. You're going to lose too. That's how Kevin Durant's shooting the ball right now. All right, I'm a little bit late for a break. Locked On Heat postcast, Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Still a lot to come tonight. I mean, just great shooting to close it out by the Suns. Tyler Herro with a good game for Miami, 28 points, playing well so far this year. And KD being KD, without a doubt. And then we look at the future upcoming games as the 6-game road trip is underway for the Heat beginning tonight. But first things first, going to tell you a little bit about one of our sponsors here on the network. And we have some great ones for you. I mean, when we talk about some of the people we have and the companies that we have here at the Locked On Podcast Network, and the reason that I'm bringing that up is because it's important, because when you're listening or when you're watching content or whatever, and you see and hear commercials, right? Well, guess what? They don't always align with your values and what you want and the values of the host. Well, all the sponsors here on Locked On, they're dope. So make sure you pay attention to the offers we give you, because they're real and they're legit and they're things that you need in your life. Speaking of which, guys, I mean, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously. You guys know this, right? We've been around a while, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom, just like the Heat want to perform on the basketball court. Well, HIMS, H-I-M-S, provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. And that's really important, right? Your sex life's important, but your schedule's busy. You need a little boost in the bedroom. HIMS is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual treatments from the comfort of your couch. Sexual health treatments. HIMS provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints and Viagra and Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits. Just answer a series of questions on their site. It's discreet. Everything will come your way. It's from a medical provider. No insurance needed. One low price covers everything. Treatment, ongoing care. You need it. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, HIMS can help you find the ED option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's HIMS, HIMS.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. HIMS.com/lockedon. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. That's HIMS on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, keeping it going on your Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. The Heat on the road, first of 6 against the Phoenix Suns tonight, 115-112 Los Suns. And, yeah, man, it just was it was unfortunate for Miami tonight in the third quarter, the end of the third quarter. The Suns just, boom, they erased that lead in no time. Kevin Durant on fire. Devin Booker so efficient this year for Phoenix. It's crazy. Like, he hardly shoots. And he's scoring a bunch of points. I mean, he's shooting 17 times and scoring 22 points. KD shot 23 times for 32. So Durant led the Suns with 32, Booker 22, Nurkic 20. Bradley Beal only had 7. I don't know what's going on with him. Jones had 5. And then off the bench, O'Neal 6, Dunn 7, Plumlee 4, and Grayson Allen with 12. Meanwhile, for the Heat, it was Tyler Herro with 28 points, 6 assists, 2 for Tyler, only 3 turnovers. Great game for him on the road tonight, but didn't get a lot of help. Highsmith off the bench with a high of 19 with a great game tonight, 7 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 3 from three-point land, but not much else for Miami. 15 for Butler, 12 for Bam with 12 rebounds and 6 assists and 5 steals. That's great for Bam. I mean, what did he have? The 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he had the 4 5s, but 5 for 21 from the floor for Bam. I mean, international Bam. He had 32 points in Mexico City. And then Jovic with 4 didn't play after halftime. He's been not so good lately. Duncan Robinson, 9. Ware with 7. I like his size and his ability to clog up the paint. Burks with 5. Larson, the rookie, with 6. Love, Bryant, Richardson, Smith, and Jaquez Jr. did not play for Miami. Looking at the team stats for you here, and this is something that's really important because they turned a couple of things. It really was just the shooting tonight that did it for the Suns. And the Heat not getting a shot off on the last possession didn't help any rather. But the Suns shot 92, or the Heat shot 92 times tonight, and the Suns shot 84. So more shots up for Miami, creating more opportunities. You love that. More possessions, things of that nature. 43.5% from Miami, certainly not bad. The Suns shot 50%, though. I mean, that's what happens when you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, right? 18 of 43 from 3 for the Suns, 13 of 34 for Miami. So, only 13 threes to 18, and the Suns shot 50%, 41 from 3. And so there you have it. And the Heat shot 19 of 20 from the free throw line. The Suns 13 of 18. So Miami keeping themselves in it a little bit that way. Rebounds about even. Offensive boards about even. Assists just about dead even. The Heat 12-5, 7 more steals than the Suns. Turnovers, the Suns had 6 more. Fast break points, they had 5 more. Points in the paint, Miami 44-36. They usually lose that category. So it really just was the largest lead, 15 for Miami, 7 for the Suns. It really just was 50% shooting, 42% from 3 for the Suns. That's what it was. That's what it was. 5 more threes and 50% shooting, especially down the stretch with Kevin Durant, who nailed everything down the stretch, just bullseye after bullseye after bullseye. I mean, and I don't have to tell you as an NBA fan, we don't. You don't need to be reminded of what it takes to survive in this league, what it takes to thrive in this league, and what it takes to be a superstar in this league. And being a superstar in many cases comes down to one thing: making shots in big spots. And Kevin Durant makes shots in every spot. He's done it his whole career, as I've said. So, I mean, you lost a game tonight on the road by 3 to a team that's 7-1 and has won 6 in a row. This is not a bad loss. The Kings game the other night with the putback from Sabonis and the terrible third quarter. Again, look, these are some of the better teams in the NBA, right? The Heat can hang with anybody. They can play with anybody, but they're not executing down the stretch. They're not closing things out. They've been terrible in the third quarter, including tonight when they blew a 15-point lead. So, end of the day, it says 29-29 in the third, and Miami was down a point at the end of one and up 3 at halftime. And then, you're up 3 at the end of the third, and then you get outscored by 6 in the fourth quarter. And it's a 25-point quarter. It's not a bad quarter. Tyler kept him in the game. Tyler was just balling out tonight, just hitting big shot after big shot for Miami. And he was the guy, he and Highsmith. Bam made a couple free throws in there. Terry Rozier made a couple jumpers, but nothing really much from him tonight. Rozier is normally, at least well into the teens in terms of scoring. And, tonight was a little bit different for him. And, sometimes you're going to have nights like that. He had 7 points. He was 1 for 7 from 3, 2 for 10 from the floor. Did hit a pretty big bucket late in the fourth to keep the Suns close. But, it wasn't a good game for Rozier. It just wasn't. And he's harassed. I mean, look, Herro had a good game, but, when Booker's locking you up and, Bradley Beal had a bunch of fouls on Herro, but, defense is defense, and it was a tough night for Terry Rozier and for the Miami Heat. You're watching Locked On Heat, Postcast, Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Don't forget, every single day you get the Locked On Heat with the guys, and they're great, giving you the ins, the outs, the ups and downs, day in, day out. With Miami, you everydayers, I know you're locked in and locked on with that. You got Locked On Dolphins with Kyle Krabs. You got Locked On Canes with Alex Dono. And then you have the Postcast with yours truly, right? And Locked On Marlins with Pete, 3 shows a week in the offseason. But postcasts after every game. Speaking of which, tonight, obviously, we're here. Friday, you ain't got no job. You ain't got to do. Well, guess what? Friday night you can be here when the Suns play the Nuggets. We'll do the postcast right after that, Jokic and company, and rematch of the NBA Finals from a couple of years ago, right? And then Sunday, it's the Wolves for the Heat. We'll be here for that. Saturday in the Rock. It's not in the Rock. It's on the road at Georgia Tech. The Canes at 12 Eastern time kickoff, so about 3:30ish with the postcast on Saturday. And then Monday Night Football, the Dolphins in Los Angeles against the Rams in a game that both teams desperately need, especially Miami at 2-5. Look, you got the Rams, you got the Raiders, and then you got the Patriots in a row. You win those three, you're a game under 500, and then you can kill yourselves over the Cardinals loss, which was ridiculous. But to get to it in a game under 500, I did a show on ESPN Radio over the weekend across the country. I'm on every weekend. And this dude told me, my partner told me, he said, the Dolphins should start trading their players like Tyreek Hill and some of the running backs and whatnot, and Waddle, all these big signings. And I don't see it. 3 games in there, 1 game under 500. So tonight, Friday, Heat, Saturday, Canes, Sunday, Heat, Monday, Dolphins. And then, of course, after that, a whole bunch of Heat, and then football continuing. The Canes have and college basketball started too. So I don't know what's going on with Locked On Canes basketball. If you want to see that, write to your Locked On Podcast Network people about that. But I'll say this, a big win for the Suns tonight. And as I say that, I'm late for a break again. It's your Locked On Heat postcast on your Wednesday, 1:15-1:12. The Suns with the victory over Miami in the first of 6 on the road in a row for the Heat. When we roll along with your Locked On Heat postcast, I'm going to talk to you about player of the game, the turning point, and the final score graphic. We got graphics for all of it. It's coming your way next, and we're going to take a look ahead to the Nuggets game on Friday. This is your Locked On Heat postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. It's time for me to tell you about Built. B-I-L-T. B-I-L-T is awesome, and I'm very excited about Built Rewards. Listen up, renters, and I know that, there's a lot of renters out there, right? Ever feel like you're stuck in this loop of rent payments, just watching your money vanish into thin air? It's time to turn that rent game around and start earning some serious rewards. That's where Built Rewards comes in. Okay, real talk. We've all been there, feeling like we're burning cash with those rent checks. It's frustrating, right? But here's the deal. Built Rewards has figured out a way to make rent more rewarding. Say goodbye to the money bonfire and hello to a renter's revolution with Built. Built is breaking ground as a neighborhood rewards program that hooks you up with points for your rent. Every month, pay your rent and watch the bill points roll in. You'll use points to jet off on a dream vacation, put your points toward a flight or hotel stay with 500-plus airlines and 700,000-plus hotels and properties. You can also use your points to book fitness studio classes, redeem them toward a future rent payment. They're designed to meet your lifestyle. Pay rent hassle-free through the Built Rewards app. Your rent game just got a major upgrade. Built points have been consistently ranked the highest value point currency by the Points Guy and Bankrate. Earn points by paying rent right now when you go to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's joinbilt.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure to use your URL so they know we sent you. Join built.com/LockedOnNBA to start earning points with rent payments. Today is the greatest. And our show is also brought to you by A Que Hora Game Time. What time is it? It is game time. And I will tell you this, Game Time Picks is what it's all about. I know you get the seat views, you get the all-in pricing, you get the lowest price guarantee, and you get the best ticket coverage in the industry. You get to look at the view from your seat from every angle, panoramic. Yeah, we know. And it's not just sporting events. It's concerts, it's comedy, it's theater. It's all that with Game Time. But priority is what matters here with Game Time Picks. It's called curation, right? You might have heard of it. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Yeah, and you know what curation is, right? That means with Game Time Picks, you're going to put in the parameters of what you want for seats. And all they're going to do from that point forward is show you your picks. They're not going to waste your time with everything else that they could show you, all the other seats. No, they want to know what you like, and they're going to customize it just for you. And I love that about Game Time. It is absolutely amazing. So what are you going to do? What you going to do, brother? You're going to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks is what you're going to do. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONHEAT for $20 off your first purchase. Locked On Heat. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON Heat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, and by the way, on that, you can, Locked On Heat Postcast, Locked On Sports Miami on YouTube, wherever you're getting your audio podcasts. You know what I'm saying? So you got that covered right up in here as we continue with your Locked On Heat Postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. We'll be wrapping it up in just a couple of minutes here, but what an awesome night for Tyler Herro again, and for Highsmith for 19 points for him. It's hard for me not to make him a player of the game when a guy like that comes off the bench and does that with no Hawkwez Jr., but Tyler had such a great game tonight. More on that in a minute. Where's this guy? What's this guy doing? 15 points. He had 26 the other night. This is your superstar. This is your big timer. This is your guy who's supposed to be doing what Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were doing, but just like most of the season so far, Jimmy Butler hasn't been doing that. So is Jimmy Butler slipping a little bit? Is his play slipping? I mean, is that a fair question? We're going to have to keep an eye on that as these games move on. And you let me know what you think in the chat. You know, I mean, it is what it is. What up, Daniel Barry? Anthony Gaudette. Suns are playing like one of the best teams in the NBA. Yeah, they are. They really are. And then he put it in all caps. They really are, Anthony. And it's because of Kevin Booker and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And so, you know, the Olympics for those guys, the Suns did not have a good year last year. The Olympics, I think, really elevated those guys. They got to figure something out with Bradley Beal, but the shooting of Kevin Durant has been phenomenal. And they're winning these games. They're very close games. The last 5 games have been 3 points or less for Phoenix. So it isn't like they're world beaters, but they're a good team. They're a very good team, and you guys know that. All right, final segment of the show. You know what we always do. First things first, I let you know the final score. And Sam Ekstrom, I love you, Sam. Shout out, Sam, our podcast. I don't know what to call him. He's our postcast executive producer, or he's in charge of all the postcasts, my boss, and he does a great job. And he fixed this top graphic for me up here. You can't really see it right now because I don't know if you can see me mousing over it or not, but the 112 is fine. The 112 is fine. It looks like the Heat won 112-15, but the bottom one's not done, and that should be a 115. So the box needs to be bigger on the bottom too, maybe a little bit bigger at the top to fit those zeros. So 112-115, 115-112. Obviously, the Phoenix Suns beat the Miami Heat. The moment that turned the game around wasn't really a moment. It was KD down the stretch. Look at that separation. That's that shot that made it 114-110 over Highsmith. Look, Highsmith playing great defense, had his body right up on KD, stood with him the whole time, went around screen, every single thing, over, under screens. Great job on defense. And then what happens? Kevin Durant just leans back with his huge arms. He's 7 feet tall, maybe not quite 7 feet anymore, but look at the size of his hands. Look at the elevation. The release point of the shot is unbelievable. Yeah, Kevin Durant with another monster game tonight for Phoenix. And look, when he's playing, he's still playing like this at a very high level. I mean, this dude's been in the league forever. I mean, 2007, 17th season, and he's still playing at a super high level. So Kevin Durant with that, you know, had a big game tonight for Phoenix with 32 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, Nurkic, 20 points, 18 rebounds, 14 of them on the defensive side. And then Booker, 22, 9 of 17 shooting, with Grayson Allen adding 12 off the bench for Phoenix. So there you have it. Kevin Durant hot down the stretch. But look at the separation. You're talking perfect defense. Perfect defense from Highsmith. There's nothing else you can do. There is literally nothing. His hands blocking his vision. Nothing's going to stop that. Nothing. There's nobody and nothing that's going to stop right there. And I mean, look at. It's beautiful. Beautiful picture. Beautiful, beautiful photograph there. And then, of course, star of the game. I need a hero. We don't need another hero. Then a hero comes along. Is there another one? Can we do more? Is there more? I don't know. But everybody needs a hero. Not everybody needs a Tyler, but everybody needs a Herro. Herro. 28 points for Tyler tonight. He was dope in this game. He played really well, Tyler Herro did. He's had a good start to the season, actually. 35 minutes, 9 of 15 from the floor, 5 of 9 from 3, 5 for 5 from the stripe. Getting Bradley Beal in foul trouble all night. 28 points and a +5 for Tyler. Rozier didn't have a good night. Jimmy scored only 15. Bam was bricking everything, trying to build new buildings in downtown Phoenix. And, you know, Tyler putting up numbers, 21.8 on the season so far. So Tyler Herro is your star of the game. Your Locked On Heat postcast. So there you have it, 115, 112, room 112, where the play is at. 115, 112. The Suns beat the Heat. Friday night, Denver. Sunday night, Minnesota. 6-game road trip rolling on. Both those games going to start late, right? Because let me just make sure on the schedule. And I got to make sure I didn't miss anything real quick before we bounce on out of here. And, yep, KD 32. Let me see. Okay, so you got 2 in a row you've lost now with the Washington win in between. You lost to New York before that, in Orlando. Teams with really good front court players who can shoot are killing the Heat right now. You got Denver and Jokic coming up. You got Minnesota. Then you're at Detroit. Then you got Indiana 2 in a row. You got Indiana 2 in a row on the 15th and the 17th. And, man, that's a tough one. So Miami is on the road, and they're galvanized, and they played better tonight. The third quarter was better until they blew that 15-point lead. So that's the story of the game. You blew the 15-point lead. You got worked down the stretch and closed out by Kevin Durant, one of the greatest closers of all time, and that happens to a lot of teams in the NBA. So Denver, it's going to be a 9 o'clock start on Friday night, and then Minnesota on Sunday is going to be a 7 o'clock start. So those 2 games are going to be a little bit later, and we'll be here with the postcast. Canes at noon on Saturday, postcast right after. Dolphins, 9:15 Monday Night Football in LA, postcast right after that. So Heat tonight, Friday, Sunday, Canes Saturday, Dolphins Monday. You know how we do on the Locked On Podcast Network. Until then, my name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease at @JimGrease_ on social media. That's GRIES. Thanking you so much for being here with me tonight. And one more time before we get out of here, I want to remind you that your favorite team now has a newsletter, Locked On Heat Daily Newsletter. One stop, ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now, LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. That's all there is, Heat fans. There is no more. Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease again at @JimGrease_ on social media. Friday Heat, Saturday Canes, Sunday Heat, Monday Dolphins. We will be here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Locked On Sports Miami on YouTube and wherever. And The Rock means wherever you get your postcasts and podcasts. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Until then, Heat fans, keep your game tight and your mind right, baby, because we are out.